Hello everyone, my name is Mehek. I hope you guys are doing fine and safe, and like always I also hope that you guys are reading back with a fun and interesting read. So I have mentioned earlier how I love books that are set in Japan or about Japan, and Japan is definitely on my bucket list, and not just for cherry blossoms. There are a lot of reasons. So this book that I finished reading is Orienting, an Indian in Japan. It's by Pallavi Aiyar. As soon as I saw the title and it's the summary was it's about an Indian going to Japan and her experience, and I thought I had to read this book, and I'm glad I did because it was fun, interesting. Coming to the story now, it's actually about Pallavi Aiyar, the author, and she's a freelance journalist, and she's also wife of European Union bureaucrats. So globe-trotting is something that is not new to her. Because of the nature of her husband's job, she's moving from one country to another every 3 to 4 years. So in this book, she's has currently moved to Japan, and this book is basically part reportage and part memoir, and chronicles her personal interactions and experience in Japan. That is what majorly the book is all about. So you will read everything right from the festivals in Japan, and how a simple act of opening a bank account for foreigners can be really difficult in Japan and can be really tedious. You will read about Ganesha temples with Ganesha idols, but how and why they are hidden from the public eye. So you will read all about this and more. Obviously the book is packed with a lot of information, but I'm quickly going to take you through some of my favorite chapters about this book, so which will give you an idea about what this book is all about. There's one chapter which basically talks about how Tokyo, or how Japan is so safe that kids literally, or 6 years old kid are literally roaming around and traveling to and fro from their school alone in metros. It's a common sight to see a 6-year-old traveling alone, crossing roads and taking a metro to their school and coming back home. Also the whole community, how they support this. For example, you'll read about how the kids since they are in kindergarten or at when they're children, they're trained to cross roads. They're trained to observe their older siblings and observe adults and learn how to cross roads. In fact, schools over there, they distribute these yellow patches that the newbies, the kids who are just learning to cross the roads, they can put those yellow patches on the uniform, so it becomes easy for the adults to identify them when they're crossing the roads. And you have people who have retired, or some adults who spot them and they immediately help them while crossing the road, which I felt is such a wonderful way to invoke this sense of independence and responsibility in the kids around. So this was something that I really found interesting. Another thing was how again Tokyo is one of a safe place, and Japan, in fact, it's such a safe country. It's actually given here, so many facts that I don't know which year, but it said that in Tokyo, the number of found items was 4 times more than the number of lost items that were reported. So they have this really nice thing. You will commonly see that on the roads, if someone has found something, they will just leave it at the side of the road, or they'll go to the police and they will just report that this is the item that they have found, which it is so hard to expect something like this happening in India. But that itself makes this, like the author shares that she lost her wallet, and I think within 2 or 3 hours or something, she actually found her wallet back exactly intact, which was, I think, wonderful. And the author questions here why it is like that, and she comes to the conclusion that first of all, in Japan, there is a sense of reliance on community. Japanese people believe that trust breeds trust. So they feel that if someone has taken that efforts and taken that pain of going and reporting their valuable item, they need to do the same. So if I found out some lost item on the road, I also need to do the same, because I know if something like this happens to me, someone in the community is going to return that favor. So that's why they believe that trust breeds trust, which I think is a wonderful thing again. You will also read about the seasonal flavors in Japan, how you have so many seasons and so many fruits in Japan. The author was saying that she loves how the autumn and the different seasons are celebrated in Japan. Obviously, you read about cherry blossoms as well. So during the cherry blossoms, you have something called as hanami, which is basically boozing under the bloom. So as soon as you have the cherry blossom, people come out on the roads and they basically have this boozing festival that people observe all over the Japan, which is again interesting. Then you would read about things like there's a Rajnikant fan group in Tokyo. I think there was this association which has 3,000 fans. So there was this movie of Rajnikant that was released called Muthu, and how it became famous. And there are instances wherein people have reported these fans in Japan, how they came out of the depression and just by watching that movie. So you actually have associations or fan clubs in Japan that are dedicated to Rajnikant. And obviously, because it's Japan, you're going to read about their world famous washrooms and commodes or toilets that they use, how it's tech savvy, and how it has always been a constant a matter of awe for the author. Wherever she's gone, she talks about how public toilets are so clean and tidy and easily available, and come up with these commodes that are tech savvy. Some of the toilets are equipped to even test your blood sugar levels. So that high technology is something that can be experienced in Japan. Again, how people are obsessed with cleanliness there and recycling their waste. So this is the first part of the book, wherein it's all the good things about Japan, some of the things that I had read before as well, like in Japanese my book, like the arts of kintsugi, the onsen, which is this spiritual bathing experience, the Japanese tea ceremony. Talking about the bathing experience, I also read in this book that if you have a tattoo, you're most likely not allowed, definitely not allowed in the swimming pools in Japan, because they associate tattoos with gangsters and mafia groups. So you have to cover your tattoos and only then you are allowed in the swimming pools. So that's the thing. So if you have a tattoo, you might want to cover it up before taking the plunge in the pool. What I like about this book is that the author does not give us just a rose tinted picture of Japan. The second half, towards the end, I feel like the author has shared some real facts about Japan. Like, for example, for me, the first thing that was really shocking to read about the racism in Japan. So you will read that how racism is a problem in Japan. They're absolutely so racist with non-Japanese or foreigners. So much so that if you're in a crowded metro train, you will see that the seat next to a foreigner is always empty, in spite of the train being crowded and people wanting to sit, but it's the seat next to a foreigner is always kept empty. In fact, this is something that the author also experienced, that the Japanese restaurant, some of the restaurants that she went, she was denied entry because a lot of people feel there, these Japanese restaurants, that foreigners are too loud, and also because Japanese have these really strong and strict dining table and dining etiquettes, and they feel that foreigners won't be able to follow that, so they do not allow the entry to the foreigners. So this was again something bizarre, that I read, that how they're absolutely racist. Again, the author was present there, when the pandemic started, and she said that, although you read about how Japan is, technology driven and everything, it's so advanced, but as a country, they were just not prepared for the work from home transition, the corporates in the schools, they were absolutely not prepared for it. So yeah, these are the some of the things that you read about, which gives you some real facts about Japan as well, which is exactly not rose tinted. So all in all, I think this has been a very engaging and an informative read. The author has covered all this and more in this 200 pages. So I would definitely recommend this book to you. Had this been, I feel, had this been just a book wherein the author would have shared her experiences, just the facts about Japan as a country or a culture, it wouldn't have been interesting. But because she injected her personal experiences and her personal interactions with the people there, with a touch of humor, I think it makes the book all the more very interesting. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this fun, engaging and informative read to you all. Yeah, so that's all on this wonderful book. I'm going to see you next week with another book. Till then, take care. Bye bye.